So, what is will? Will is called as wasiyat in Muhammadan law. It is a document through which a Muhammadan disposes his property, which will take effect after his death. The will is in its nature that is alterable and that is also revocable. Mohammedan can revoke the will. Similarly, also the situation in will under the Indian Succession Act. So this is conferment right in a specific, or not otherwise conferment of right on a specific property or on any profit or any gratuity, which will take effect on the after the death of the person who makes the will. The person who makes the will, what is known as Musilia, Musiliah. The person who makes the will, who is the author of the will, who makes the will, who disposes the property under will, he is called Musilia. That is, that the person who takes the property. If the person who takes the property, he is called Musilia. The person who makes the will, he is called Musi, not Musilia, he is called Musi. Musi and Musilia. The person who makes the will, he is called Musi. The person in whose favor the will is made or the wasiyat is made, that is called Musilia. And the property which is bequeathed, that is called Musibe. Musibeh. Musibe. So now you are clear that what is will? Will is called as wasiyat in Muhammadan law. By that, will is a document or instrument through which a Muhammadan disposes his property, which will take effect after his death. Then that will is revocable, that can be alterable by the Muhammadan during his lifetime. So, Section 2 of the Indian Succession Act defines what as will. The legal declaration of the intention of a testator. Who makes the will is called testator. Section 2, legal declaration of the intention of the testator with respect to his property, which is desires to be carried into effect after his death. This is Section 2 of the Indian Succession Act that defines will. How? The will is a legal declaration of the intention of the testator. Legal declaration of the intention of the testator. What? With respect to his property. Intention of the testator with respect to his property, which will take effect, which he desires, that is to be carried into after his death. This definition is also applicable to will so far as Muhammadan is concerned. So, under Muhammadan law, that wasiyat, for valid wasiyat, two things must be satisfied. Two legal requirements are there. What are there? There should be a distinct and express intention to give by the testator. There must be clear intention of the testator to give that property, or that is called, or that is Mushi, whom will make the will wasiyat is called Mushi. There should be a clear, there should be a distinct and express intention of the Mushi or the testator to give the property. Second, it must be intended to take effect. It must be intended that the disposition will take effect after his death. So an important feature of a will is different from gift, is that in case of gift, immediately property is given. But right on the property comes to the person, that is legatee. He is called Musilia only after the death of the testator. So for a valid will, first the person who makes the will, he must be competent or capacity to make the will. First, who is a competent to make a will? A Mohammedan who is not insane, who is not a minor, he is competent to make a will. That is wasiya. Every Muslim of sound mind who is major can dispose of his property by will. So for making a will, the majority is Indian Majority Act is applicable. So that is the will. So will by a minor is incompetent to make a will. But when it is so made by him, it may subsequently validated by the minor on his attaining majority. If a minor has made a will, that is not valid, but he can subsequently that make it valid by attaining majority. So now will by unsound mind person, a bequest or by a bequest means making a will, disposition by will we say bequest. A bequest by a person of unsound mind is void and it cannot be rendered valid even he becomes of sound mind. Like minor. If a minor makes a will, that is void, but he can make validate that will after attaining majority. But so far as insane person is concerned, a will made by insane is void. Insane person is void. But he cannot validate that will after cure from insanity. Now a question comes, suppose a person makes a will and thereafter he commits suicide. What will be the effect of the will? So a will made by a person after he has taken poison, after taking poison, after doing any act towards commission of suicide is not valid under Sharia law. Suppose a person consumed poison or had taken some step to commit suicide, thereafter he makes a will. That is not valid according to Sharia law. But if he makes the will first, suppose he first makes the will and thereafter he consumes the poison to commit suicide, then that is valid. And then commit suicide, the will is not invalid. Even though the testator had contemplated suicide, if the testator, the person that is Mushi, he has contemplated to commit suicide, but that will be valid. Under the Hanafi law, the will of a person committing suicide also valid. Apostasy means what? A person who has accepted any other religion. He has been converted. According to Hanafi school, apostasy does not invalidate a will. If a person has made a will and thereafter he is converted to another religion, then that will not invalidate the will. Condemned person, a person condemned to death. Condemned to death who has been sentenced to this capital punishment is called condemned person. A person who has been sentenced to death sentence is condemned to death is not deprived of the power of making will. So now you are clear who is a competent person? A Mohammedan who has attended majority, who is not insane and not minor. He can execute a will. He can make a will. Then, if a minor has made a will, that is void. But after attaining majority, if he can validate that will. But this principle is not applicable so far as an insane person making will. If a person has made a will during insanity, even after he is pure from insanity, he cannot validate that will. Similarly, contemplating suicide, if a person makes a will, that is valid. That is valid. But similarly, if a person has made will and thereafter he is converted to another religion, Mohammedan, then he is called apostate. That is also valid. If a person who has been sentenced to death, he makes a will, that is also valid. Then what are the formalities? How a will is to be made? In order to make a will valid, no particular form is required. What Mohammedan law says? No particular form is required for making a will. Only it may be made either verbally, even under Mohammedan law, such a verbally will can be made, but that must be proved in court that actually it has been made verbally. Even writing it can be made, and no special form or solemnity for making a or attesting a will is prescribed. So far as will is concerned, will is made under the Indian Succession Act to attesting witnesses are taken. That will not be taken into evidence unless the attesting one of the attesting witness has come to the witness box to the court. But under the Mohammedan law, no particular form is required, no attesting witness is required. Only is required that clear expression of intention. Even that can be made verbally. Where the testator lost his power of speech, sometimes the person, testator means who makes the will, he has lost the power of speech and did not regain his speech, is unable to talk. Then, before his death, he can make a will by giving by expressing his intention by sign, which is intelligible. A will prepared in accordance with the instruction of a testator and to which he expressed approval, believing that that is a true one, would be a valid will, though that was subsequently reduced into writing. A written will may be unattested under the Mohammedan law. No attestation is required. A written will may be unattested or even unsigned. If somebody has written but not signed, it will be still valid. What is necessary? That is that instrument will convey unmistakably the intention of making a disposition of his property, which will come into operation after his death. If this clear intention is there, it is mentioned that such and such person will get his property after his death, that will be a valid will. Even if the will is signed, its attestation is not required under the Mohammedan law. Strict proof of oral will is required. So will can be made orally. So when some will is made orally, that comes to the court. Strict proof of oral will is required. The burden of proof that there is a oral will is very strict on the always a very heavy one on the person who says there is a will. It must be proved with the utmost precision and with every circumstance of time and place. At what time, at what place, that must be proved. The court must be certain about what the testator said. It must be clear what the testator said, proved, and whether what he said amount to a testamental disposition and what precisely were the direction given, also must be proved, because that is a oral will. Under Mohammedan law, oral will is permissible, but the parties must lead such evidence before the court as would clearly establish that the will has been proved satisfactory. Clear evidence must be there before the court. There is a oral will, that is actually declaration of intention. Intention is clear, and for which property will go to what which person. Mere stray circumstances may not be enough. A sick and dying person, being unable to move, may bequeath his property by nodding his head by making a will. There is no necessity even a verbal declaration of will so long as the intention of the testator is sufficient as certain. If you take the following illustration, a letter written by a testator containing direction as to the disposition of property to take effect after his death is a valid will. So we have moved on the letter as written the letter to another that such and such person will get his property after his death. That will be treated as a valid will because thereby the clear intention is expressed. Second, suppose take an example, A gives his house to B but retains usufructs of portion for his life, because this is not a will, already house is given. So unless there is an intention, it will not be treated as a will because property is immediately given. Now let us see what property may be given in will. What property? Any property which is capable of being transferred. It may be movable or immovable, and which exists at the time of testator death may be disposed of by will. Any property which is transferable, that property must be of the testator. So that's a property which belongs to another cannot be bequeathed by will. It is possible to make a bequest of the corpus in favor of one person and of his produce to use to another. That is, there may be will also. So what are the, now let us see, there are other requirements for a valid will. Let us discuss. The conditions of a valid will are: first, the testator must be competent to transfer the property. First, he must be competent to transfer the property. And he must be adult and sane and free consent. Second, the legatee, that means the person in whose favor the will is made, must be a person capable of receiving the bequest. He may be a non-Muslim. A non-Muslim may be a legatee or a zimmi, that is subject of a Muslim state. Zimmi means a subject of a Muslim state. Third, the subject of the legacy must be property susceptible of being transferred. The property must be transferable and must be in existence at the time of testator's death and in possession. For the legatee, that means in whose favor the will is made, that is musilia, that is legatee. Musilia means legatee. The legatee must be, must accept the bequest after the testator's death. But such acceptance may be either by the express acceptance or implied acceptance. A bequest to a person other than heir of the testator is valid to the extent of 1/3 of the testator property, even without the consent of it. In this context, you should keep in mind, you should remember that when a will is made in favor of one of the heir, that will not exceed 1/3 of the share of the property of the Mohammedan after payment of his debt and meeting of his funeral expense. But when a will is made in favor of a non-Muslim, the consent of the other heir is not required, but only up to bequest to a person other than an heir of the testator is valid to the extent of 1/3 of the testator's property. Second, a bequest to any of the testator's heir is not valid even to the extent of 1/3 property unless other heirs consent for it. So far as non-Muslim is concerned, non-heir is concerned, because to any testator's heir, none other than heir, other than where it may be non-Muslim, a Muslim who is not heir, even not exceeding only 1/3 property of that of Mohammedan of a person can be bequeathed by will. But if it is made in favor of a heir, that must be also confined to 1/3 share, but with the consent of other heirs. A person having no heir for any kind, suppose a person has no heir at all, can bequeath by will the whole of his property. Only when a person has no heir, he can bequeath whole of his property after meeting his funeral expense and the payment of debt. So in this, so you should remember, when a person bequeaths the entire property, and he has no heir, then that is valid. But if as a heir, if a person has a heir, he can at best make will of his 1/3 of his property to a non-heir or a non-Muslim. If one of the heir is there, in favor of one heir, bequest is made, that must be not exceeding 1/3 of the property of that Mohammedan, then with the consent of other heirs. A person in debt to the extent of his whole property makes a bequest. It is not lawful unless the creditor releases the property. Suppose the Mohammedan is indebted, then if he makes the will debt to the extent of his whole property, he makes a will, that is not valid unless the creditor releases the property. A bequest in favor of an unborn person is void unless such person was a child in ventra sa mere at the time of the will and is born within 6 months from the date of the will. If a question comes, can a Mohammedan make a will in favor of an unborn person, a child in mother's womb? Yes, the Mohammedan can make a will in favor of the child in mother's home, provided that the child takes birth within 6 months from the date of the will. If a legacy is left of two persons jointly, suppose legacy means the person, two persons jointly it has been made, and one of them was dead at the time of bequest was made. If one of the legacy is dead when at the time the bequest was made, then the surviving legatee will get the entire legacy. Then the other legatee will get the entire property. But if one died subsequent to the bequest, the survivor gets a half. After bequest, if one of the dies, then half. Where a bequest is made to several persons, it is divided equally among them all. Under the no writing is required to make a valid will, and no particular form is required. You should understand. Even can be made orally. Even a verbal declaration will is there, but the intention testator to make a will must be clear and explicit, and form is immaterial. Whatever form that is immaterial. It may be in any form. No particular form is required. Revocation can be made during lifetime of the testator. That may be that by those revocation can be proved from the facts and circumstances in a given case. No express revocation is required. The bequest must be of 1/3 of the testator's estate after meeting the funeral expense at depth of the amount. So, and binding on the person claiming through his estate. So, whatever will is made, that is binding on all the other person who are entitled. So now, principles of testamental disposition. The testator's power under Muslim law to dispose of his property under a will are not unlimited. First, they are restricted in two ways: as to the person to whom the property be bequeathed, and to the extent of the subject matter of the property. So, think as to the property constituting the subject matter of property. Limitation as to the person to whom the property may be bequeathed. First, bequest may be made in favor of non-heir. In such case, a bequest may be made in favor of any person who is capable, only who is capable of receiving the property. It is not necessary that he may be a Muslim. If to a non-Muslim also, bequest can be made, a property may be given in will. So, only that is bequest in favor of an heir, bequest in favor of an heir and a stranger, bequest to an unborn person, and bequest to a testator's murderer. So, under Sunni law, a bequest in favor of heir is void unless the other heir existing at the time of death consent to it after the death of the testator. After the death of the testator, if other heir consent to the will, then that is valid. The consent during the testator life is of no avail. During lifetime of the testator, if consent is given, that is of no avail, because an heir has no interest in the property, because he is not an heir in the property as long as the testator lives. The reason for the rule is based on the tradition saying of the Muhammad. God has allotted to every heir his particular right, and a bequest to a particular heir is unjust. So, that is, after the death, other heirs will consent. Bequest in favor of an heir and a stranger. If a bequest is made to an heir and also a stranger, the bequest to the heir, even if it were less than a third, is void unless assented by other heirs, while that with respect to the person of the stranger is without such consent. So far as stranger is concerned, if consent is not required. So, as I told you, unborn person, a bequest to a person who is not in existence at the time of death is void, but a child in its mother's womb is considered for the purpose of already in existence. Already, if a child in mother's womb is there, then will can be made, but the child should take birth, should be born within, must be born within 6 months from the date of making the will. Bequest to a testator's murderer. According to Sunni law, a bequest to the person who is shown to have caused the death of the testator and inflicted a mortal wound is void. If a will has been made and thereafter the testator was murdered by the person legatee, that is void. The prophet was of the opinion that there was no legacy for the slayer, as he had hastened an event which God might have delayed. That is, the limitation as to property, because that is, what is limitation? Because one third property is there. That is, a Sunni Mohammedan cannot only, when entire property will be, when he has no heir. When the Mohammedan has no heir, he can, because his whole property. A Sunni Mohammedan cannot dispose by will more than one third of the remains of his estate after payment of funeral expense and debt. Whatever property is there, of that property, one third property can be bequeathed. Further, out of the bequeathable one third, no portion need be left to an heir. That is the property. So, what is the nature of the property? The subject of the bequest must be in existence at the time of testator's death. So, that is, will can be revoked. That is by express revocation. Expressly, it is the revocation of a bequest by an express declaration. That is express revocation. Implied revocation means may be indirect by conduct or subsequent act of the testator. That means, suppose first made a will, thereafter be unmade another will. Thus, where the testator extinguishes or disposes of his right as regard the subject matter of the case by alienating the transfer. Suppose it thereafter transfers, thereby implied revocation. A bequest of the same property to another person in a subsequent denotes the revocation of the earlier. Suppose first will is made, then again another will is executed. That is also to be treated that the first revocation. A Mohammedan will may, after due proof, be admitted in evidence, though no probate has been obtained. He should remember. So, probate is not required if a Mohammedan will is duly proved. The property of the deceased under Muslim law vests in the executor or administrator who is the legal representative of the deceased. So, no probate is required. So, that is, sell to pay debt first on the estate. This is not sell, that is will. So, limit of one third, you should understand one third will be given to non-heir, no consent of other heir is required. If one of the heir, consent of other heirs is required, those consent must be after death. If there is no heir at all, no such consent is required. So, you should also know what are the differences. What are the differences between gift and will? In case of gift, there is immediate transfer of interest in the property. But in case of will, that the legatee will get the person in favor of who will has been that he will get the that property after the death. It cannot be rescinded except by decree of the court. Once a gift property is there, that cannot be rescinded. But will is its nature ambulatory. Ambulatory means what? Alternate, alterable, and revocable during the testator's lifetime. In case of gift, delivery of possession of the subject matter of gift is required. But in case of will, the possession of the taken after the death of the testator. The subject of, in case of gift, the subject of will must be in existence at the time of the donation. It must be in existence at the time of testator's death. In case of will, a gift cannot be made to take effect at any future period, whether definite or indefinite, but it takes effect on the death of the testator. There are no limitations to the capacity of donor to donate either as regard the person to whom or to what extent property will be gifted. But in Muslim, that is, so far as gift is concerned, Muslim cannot bequeath more than one third of residue of his estate after the payment of debt and other charges. A Sunni Muslim cannot also make a valid bequest to an heir, even to the extent of one third, unless the remaining heir consents for it. So, doctrine of Musa applies, that is, undivided share in the Mohammedan property is called Musa, that is applicable in case of gift, but this Musa theory is not, doctrine is not applicable so far as will is concerned. This is in nutshell we discussed, that is will. Thank you. In the next class, we will discuss the other provisions.